Hello, this is Arthur again. Today we have a 2013 BMW 328i. It's a E93 M Sport convertible, and this car came in with no start. It got towed in. It cranks, but it doesn't start. I've actually checked it from what I thought it was going to be the issue. I checked it over a few different things, and I couldn't find the problem. And it ended up going to the dealer, and they found something that was concerning, so the owner sent it back to me, and I'm gonna see if that is the problem, and we're gonna try to take care of it. So let me show you some of the things that I checked on it, and then if you have a similar issue with your BMW, you can check that as well. Okay, this car has about 100,000 miles on it. I've worked on this car numerous times before, done a lot of repairs on it. Oil pan gasket, a lot of other things, suspension. This owner takes very good care of this car. It's a very nice condition. 328 does have a nice intake on it and a few other things. However, this time it is having an issue of not starting. And first thing that came to my mind was the fuel pump, as these cars are pretty known to have bad fuel pumps and as well as fuel pump module. However, when I checked it, the fuel pump actually was working properly, and I was getting a good pressure right here at the fuel line, and that was not the issue. I was getting fuel. And then I did check the fuses, which are in the glove compartment. I did check relays. I did check the master flow sensor. I disconnected it because sometimes that can cause similar issue, but no go from that. I did what else did I do? Check the IBS sensor, check battery. There was quite a bit of things that I checked, and I did pull spark plugs, and when the car would crank, I wouldn't see fuel coming. So thought injectors are not coming on, and the spark plugs, just looked used up. Didn't look too bad to my eye, and I thought that the issue is with the DME, which is fairly common on these cars to go bad as well, but I wasn't sure about the problem. So the car got towed to a dealer, and what they found was that the fuel looked like was either incorrect fuel in there, maybe possibly diesel or something that was mixed, and that was causing the engine not to fire up. And the spark plugs, like I said, they are pretty have pretty good built up on it as well, which once I did remove it this time, they do actually look pretty bad. Here you can see them. So we're gonna go with new set of spark plugs. I'm going to drain the tank, try to clean inside the tank as much as possible. I do have some fresh gas I purchased, and we're gonna see if it will fire up. If no, I have to go with new injectors as well. Gonna try to do the spark plugs only first and new fuel, and then if some fuel cleaner possibly. If that doesn't work, then I have to do new injectors, which are fairly pricey. They're not too difficult to replace on this engine, but they're kind of pricey. They're about $220, $230 each. Times 6 adds up. So as far as the gas goes in the car, the owner pumped it about a week and a half ago, full tank, and he did drive it for a while, and everything was fine. There was no issues at all. And then just one morning he was driving, and then the car shut off and never wanted to start again. I did check the timing gear as well with a borescope camera, and it looks intact. Nothing is out of whack, which sometimes on these engines it can happen. And the cranking sounds good as well. I don't think there is any issue with the timing or anything. And I did try to spray fuel in the intake, and actually the engine does start, so that kind of rules out a lot of other issues. So we know it's fuel an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain the fuel. I'm gonna see how to do that still, and then I'll update you how it goes. Okay, going to attempt the first start to see if it works. Okay, I attempted first start, it didn't work. So we're going to conduct a very scientific test. Put cups on the injectors, except the 6. They wasn't lining up my cup, but we'll know if it squirts or no. And I'm going to crank it and see if any fuel comes out. And as we saw, fuel does come out. This is the fuel that I got out of the car. Look, it's completely separated. I'm not sure if it's diesel or what is it. The bottom. That's why it explains why the car is not running. Okay, as you can see, the car is running. It's running nicely actually. I'm gonna shut it off and I'll tell you what I did. We finally started working. So, as you saw with the injector test, it was spraying, although I thought it sprayed kind of slow, but actually I think it was okay because it was cycling through. So what I did is, what happened is the combustion chamber was actually contaminated with the water or whatever the fluid was that was in the gas tank. So I pulled all the plugs out, I pulled the injectors out, and I tried to clear it with air by putting a lot of air in there in all the cylinders and looking with the camera, and actually it did dry out somewhat. I could see some, still see some drops in there, and I let it sit overnight with the spark plugs removed and injectors removed as well, which is here's the fuel rail. And once in the morning I cycled through the injectors one more time with the fuel rail removed, and I saw that it's still spraying. All 6 were spraying. I was going to replace the injectors, but I decided to hold on for now as they were spraying. I looked with the bore scope down the cylinder wells and it looked pretty dry overnight. So I reinstalled all the spark plugs, reinstalled everything else, and I tried to start it and it wouldn't start, but it would kind of sounded like it was try to catch on. So it did take a few minutes of cranking, and once I think the cylinder wells dried out more, it actually cut up, and it did start slowly, but it started, and I let it idle for a while, let it warm up, and it runs perfectly now. So I'm going to add more fuel in there, and I'm going to add like a drying agent, like a heat or something, HEET, to if there's any other moisture left in a tank, to try to dry it out, dilute it into gas. And I think that should be it. So basically, to recap, I drained the tank, drained the lines from pump this way. I did add about 4 gallons of fuel to clear it, to make sure only clear fuel comes out. I try to siphon out from the tank as much as possible, and I did replace the spark plugs. I did let it dry out overnight. I did not replace injectors, and basically that was it. It was a lot of work actually to initially diagnose it and then move this car back and forth to the dealership, as I did not find the problem initially, but it was well worth it. You know, dealership wanted to replace everything basically, and it was gonna be several $1,000s. I did have to charge the battery a few times. And what else? Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. And I don't think I am. Oh yeah, I am going to add the liquid to the gas tank, as I mentioned, and I will take it for a test drive, and if there is any other issues, I will return back in this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe if this video was helpful. Oh yeah, and one more thing, I did not have any codes at all. There was no crank sensor codes, there was nothing, no timing codes, nothing was not a single code that was coming or anything out of line. The only thing was, it just sounded like there's no gas, and like just the gas was bad basically. The owner did pump the gas somewhere, and it looks like it was either a bunch of water in there or oil in there. I don't know what it was, but something was ethanol or something like that. Was not happy. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.